Hello, everyone. So, in the first part of Karen Horney's lecture, we had talked about the comparative analysis between Freud and Horney and the impact of culture. And in the part two, today we will be learning about the importance of childhood experiences. So, what is Karen Horney saying? Horney believed that the neurotic conflict can stem from any developmental stage, but childhood is the age from which the vast majority of problems arise. So the important age group is childhood. Now a variety of traumatic incidents can happen, like sexual abuse, beatings, open rejection by the parents, or the caregivers, or pervasive neglect. So, if these are happening years after years during childhood, this can lead to how the child's future development would be. So, childhood is the area when such abuse, beatings, open rejection may happen. And by not getting enough care, what happens, the person grows up with such trauma, and it can lead to neurotic conflicts. A child's need is love and affection, but the warmth the child needs, if the child is not getting, there would be some trauma. Now specific traumatic events won't lead to trauma in future, but the accumulation of all the traumatic incidents and the feeling of that the child is not getting the love and warmth would lead to neurotic conflicts. Now Horney said that the difficult childhood a person goes through is responsible for neurotic needs. Now these needs become very powerful because that is the only way a child can have feelings of safety. So this actually comes from Horney's own father. Had Means Horney's own lack of love from her father, and her close relationship with her mother definitely must have had a powerful effect on the development of this theory and her ideas. So, again, coming back, the sum total of the childhood experiences bring about a certain character structure. And the character structure is these needs, neurotic needs, and these become so powerful because this is the only way the child would be feeling safe. And as an adult, these same beings, they repeatedly repeat these patterns of behavior because they when they interpret new experiences, but the patterns they show are already established, and it's consistent with the patterns they had shown in their childhood, because that is how they know how to be safe. So, childhood experiences do form a very important area in forming the neurotic needs. Coming to basic hostility and basic anxiety, these are the two concepts given by Horney. And what Horney is talking about is that a person begins his or her life with the potentiality to become healthy individuals, to have healthy development, but not always the conditions are favorable. So a child needs warm, loving environment, safety and satisfaction, and healthy discipline. But some things can interfere. Like, what can happen is that the parents' inability to love their child, because of the parents' own neurotic needs, parents often overprotect, reject, overindulge, or dominate their children. Now, these are not favorable for the child's development. It's interfering with the development of the child. Now, the needs of the child are not getting satisfied. These are the needs not not getting satisfied. And if the child's needs are not satisfied, what Horney is saying is the child is developing basic hostility. So, where is this basic hostility towards parents going? The child cannot express this basic hostility. In most cases, child would not express this hostility as rage towards parents, because again, in this dynamics, parents are the most powerful one. So they repress this hostility. When the child is repressing this hostility, which is towards the parents, they have no awareness of it. They have no awareness that they have this rage inside them, they have this hostility towards them, and that they are, after a certain period of time, they are repressing this hostility. They have no awareness of it. But we know everything which is repressed comes up. So, how is this repressed hostility coming up? It leads to profound feelings of insecurity and the vague sense of apprehension, anxiety. This unknown fear, un, unknown fear. When they are adults, they have this unknown fear. They don't know, they're anxious, but where is this anxiety coming from? They don't know. This anxiety is called basic anxiety. Now, uh, Horney has given the definition that what is the definition of basic anxiety? That a feeling of being isolated and helpless in a world conceived as potentially hostile. Why potentially hostile? Because the child had the needs. The child is unknown in this world. The child does not know how to navigate this world, and the child's needs were not met. And the child's needs are not met, he or she is always going to look at the world as potentially being hostile. And when there is hostility, they have not been they haven't learned how to navigate this. So there is always a sense of helplessness and isolation. So this is and as an adult, they always feel this anxiety. This is the basic anxiety. Now, hostile impulses are actually the principal source of this basic anxiety. But basic anxiety can also contribute to feelings of hostility. What is she saying? Basic hostility is a contribution of anxiety, but anxiety can also lead to some kind of hostility. When there is always anxiety, one must get frustrated, and then it's leading to hostility towards other people, or it may remain depressed. So, what again, another thing what Horna is saying is that basic anxiety is not a neurosis, but it's like a ground. Like, suppose there's a ground which has a very nutritive soil. So, um, out of that, neurosis can form anytime and develop anytime. It becomes very easy to develop neurosis if there is basic anxiety. But basic anxiety itself is not a neurosis. And basic anxiety is very relentless and constant. There might, as an adult, as I said, there might not be any stimulus. There might not be any stimulus, but there is anxiety. So where is this anxiety coming from? It's coming from the childhood experiences and the basic hostility which one had, and it's constant, and it again it permeates all the relationships. Like here, as we said, when we talked about the importance of childhood experiences, people rigidly repeat patterns of behavior. And how are they repeating these patterns of behavior? Because that is how they know how to navigate this world. And when they're navigating with such repetitions of behavior, there is always basic anxiety involved. Next, if we come to defenses against basic anxiety, what are the defenses against basic anxiety? The first one is that affection, a strategy that does not always lead to authentic love. So now, when they're searching for affection, some people may try to purchase love with being compliant, material goods, sexual favors. Like if a person A is giving money to person B to love person A, so is that genuine love? No, he or she is buying the affection. They are so desperate because they have that basic anxiety, and they do not want to feel that basic anxiety. They want affection so bad that they're buying for it. But that's not genuine. And basically, sadly, that basic anxiety would never be revoked. That basic anxiety would never go by buying love. So this is one of the defenses. The second defenses is submissiveness. So neurotics may submit themselves either to people or to institutions, such as any kind of organization or a religion. And the neurotics who submit to another person are actually wanting to gain affection. They would do anything to gain affection. So that's why they are even submitting to that person. So, but the point is, if you have to submit to a person to gain affection, is that really love? Is that really genuine love? Next, is that the neurotics may try to protect themselves by striving for power, prestige, and possession. So power is the defense against real or imagined hostility of the others, and take the form of tendency to dominate others. There would be tendency among some people always to dominate others, always to make others feel low and themselves to be more than them. This is actually they're trying to reduce the basic anxiety. Prestige is a protection against humiliation and again, it can be imagined humiliation as well. um so they have this anxiety that others might humiliate me. So what they do, they have a tendency to humiliate others before they humiliate them. Maybe in reality, nobody is coming to humiliate them, but they would humiliate other people before others do that. And this others doing that, this can be completely imagined. Maybe the other is not wanting to do that. Then it comes possession acts. So possession acts is working like a buffer against destitution and poverty, and manifests itself as a tendency to deprive others. Like some people gain so much, want to gain so much, it's like even taking from other people. Even they would go to the extent of depriving other people for their own gain. The fourth protective mechanism is withdrawal. Neurotics tend to protect themselves against basic anxiety either by developing an independence from others or by becoming emotionally detached from others. Hyper independence, completely withdrawn from others, do not want to have relationships with others. So what happens is that by psychologically withdrawing from others, they feel that they cannot be hurt by other people. The basic anxiety is that they might be hurt by other people. So before other people hurt them, they have completely withdrawn themselves from other people. So in this part, we learned about basic hostility and basic anxiety, the importance of childhood. So in the next part, we would be talking about compulsive drives, neurotic trends, and intrapsychic conflict.